藏了多少梦？黄色的脸，黑色的眼，不变是笑容。把千里山川河岳像是一首歌，无论你来自何方，将去向何处。一样的泪，一样的痛，曾经的苦难，我们留在心中。一样的血，一样的种，未来还有梦，我们一起开拓。手牵着手，不分你我，昂首向前走，让世界知道我们都是中国人。
The key to my views on martial arts currently are based on my 30 years plus working for the New York City Transit Authority. I work in the New York City subway system. So because of that, my Kung Fu is really reality based. Because I'm not thinking I might be in a tournament or something might happen. I may have to use my Kung Fu tonight when I go to work, you know. And I know it's gonna happen. It's not a maybe, it's a given, things happen. I've been in newspapers, I've been on television, I've taken over 100 weapons off of people in the New York City subway system. And it is a very dangerous place at times. I mean, if you read the New York paper, you'll see a lot of the crime is in the subway. There was one occasion where there was a person sleeping on the train, and they were lying down prone. And at the last stop, we have to clear the train so it can be cleaned or taken for service or things like that. And so we have to make sure everybody is off the train. And the guy was laying there sleeping, and I said, hey, last stop, you got to get off. You know, I'm in uniform. And the guy didn't respond. So I said, hey, a little louder, you know, last stop, you got to go. You know, doesn't respond. So I give him a little tap on the shoulder, and he just swings with a knife. He wasn't trying to cut me, but he just woke up swinging like, you know, he didn't know what was going on, you know. But obviously, he's a person that sleeps, a homeless person that sleeps on the train. And he was sleeping with a knife kind of under him like this. I didn't even see it. And I just saw the hand coming at me, and I grabbed the knife, and I just put it in my back pocket. I don't even know why I did that. I just, you know, with the blade pointed up, I just stuck it in my back pocket, and I pulled him on the floor, and I stepped back. I said, hey, buddy, you all right? You fell down. I told him, you know, because he was still asleep. And then he looks at me, he goes, oh, I said, look, last stop, you got to get off, you know. He gets up, and he starts walking off. He says, hey, did you see a knife around here any place? I said, no, didn't see any knife. And he walks off. So I take the knife, I give it to the nearest cop I saw. I said, look, I found this on the train, you know? So that's a good point, too. Martial arts isn't just about beating people up. It's about addressing the situation.
And I'll explain to you what are we doing. Okay. When I'm teaching you this number, when you spin your arm, you're changing the blood flow to your fingertips. Since we're not doing too long, just only 60 seconds, you don't feel it. If I have you do 5 minutes, you will feel numb and tingling. And also when you're doing a 沉石功, doing that number, if you don't do this, you will have stroke. So let's work on strengthening the ligament and the tendons. There are so many ways to stretch. Your way is always right. There's no such a thing called which way is better. She's loaded with 3 bombs. So first bomb is this bomb. She want to kick me in here, yeah. So after the first bomb, now she want to reach me with this backhand, boom, or punch. So I go like this. Just like this. 1, 2. So at this moment, she did not like being grabbed, so she moved my hand over and try to punch me with this bomb. So 3 bombs. 1, 2, 3. All right. Well, I was born in a family that my father taught Kung Fu before I was born. So I have no choice. Just like my last name, Chong, I don't have a choice to change to Smith. So I born, open my eyes, wear my diaper. I guess, you know, I am in Kung Fu, whether I like it or not. So, born with the Kung Fu, And then my older brother, he's very good at Kung Fu as well. And my older brother is 7 years older than I am. So when my brother, his Kung Fu was so good in the Kung Fu school with my dad training, so no exception. He started training Kung Fu at 4 years old. No exception for Henry. So when I hit the 4th year's birthday, my mom holding my little hand and go to the Kung Fu school and start learning stretching. So that was my beginning of my Mantis Kung Fu. The long story is I have no desire and no planning to teach Kung Fu when I grow up. It's just the way it is. And I was born and raised in Hong Kong, and I came to North America in 1979. And then from there, then I pursued, my higher education, so on and so forth. And then I began teaching praying mantis, northern praying mantis, in North America. I started teaching in Canada first when I was in a university, study in the East Coast. Then from there, then I moved to the United States in '83, and then to pursue my graduate school education. Then during that time, then I began involved with the American martial arts circle. And my father, besides of praying mantis Kung Fu that he studied, also he learned and studied Eagle Claw. Also, he learned and studied Wu style Tai Chi in Hong Kong. So, being born in a family that my father loves and likes martial art so very much, so I am very fortunately that I have this luxury that can continue to train with my father, that I do not have to choose or pick or get distracted. Kung Fu in the United States needs fresh, new blood in this profession, in this sports. The reason I said that needs new blood, continue to have fresh air to come in, because all the good old Sifu, we are getting up there, time. So change is inevitable in life. Doesn't matter if it's a martial art life or it's a personal life. Change is inevitable fact.
I started in 7-Star Mantis, and I stayed in 7-Star Mantis throughout the duration of my 30-plus years of Kung Fu training. I was also heavily influenced by Sifu Henry Chung and his father, Ho Yin Chung, and that gave me a different perspective of the Mantis family. In terms of applications, the forms are similar but a little different flavor. But the applications and understanding the applications, I got to see the privilege of being able to see different applications from 3 different families of 7-Star Mantis. Your New York Chu Lung School, your Hong Kong Lee Kam Wing School, and the Huang Hun Fan family of praying mantis. Chinese martial arts in general, there's a rich tradition that follows that, so it's not just the physical movements. With praying mantis specifically, it's a whole system. It's a combination of 17 other styles that were created to get the best techniques from different styles and to form the mantis system. In mantis, it's all there, but you have to find the right teacher to be able to unlock those secrets. I think it's the teacher-student mentoring that's very important in the Kung Fu world, because you're imparting a part of you to another person. Sometimes it can be taken too personally where the teacher feels taken advantage of. But I think it's important to keep a healthy attitude of, you just continue to share, and whoever is ready to receive, they'll be able to receive it wherever they are.
In the world now, many computer, many game, something like that. So they have some interesting thing go on. But the Kung Fu I can keep. I think we can keep in the future we build up, because we must be working hard. Only one working hard again, and also we teaching. We have the root. So the level 1, 2, 3, 4. Before the original the Kung Fu, they don't have the level. I teach you this. But I think in Europe they have the control is the level. So which level you have, and then you know how working what you are. Yeah.
So I feel that the traditional schools need to find their place, how they fit into modern society. Modern society is what it is. It moves forward, We have the internet now. We have kids on the cell phone from, 5 years old. That's society. That's the way it moves. So you need to find out that's what Kung Fu is. Kung Fu is about yielding and about, finding how your technique works in all types of situations. This is just the big picture, So I don't feel that MMA is a bad thing. I don't feel like populist martial art ideas are a bad thing. Traditional martial arts originally, remember, were a private thing. People never even knew you knew a martial art. I had friends for 25 years, 30 years. They never knew I knew martial arts. I never mentioned it. It never came up, So I do martial arts for myself, number one, and not just to fight, but for my meditation, my mind.
I have high hopes. I feel like a lot of times he's definitely right. You see that as generation before us, as they're getting in their older years, good or bad, sometimes people become instructors or Sifus, and they kind of get into it for the wrong reason. They don't have the love, the tradition, or they lost it, one of the two, or it becomes a business for them. And I think there's a balance. You can definitely have a business and still try to keep that traditional environment to where, again, you don't have to sacrifice the richness of Kung Fu for the commercial aspect. You can actually, blend the two.
家传的和这个外传的基本上是一样，就是家传的比较这个没有混杂其他的东西，因为其他的这个多说一点，你可以挑一些那个讲一些，就是其他的，好像人他学过其他的东西，再来学这个，他就穿插上其他的东西，但不能说是纯正吧，就是有点变化。
Like Sifu Jason Joe always says that, it takes 3 horses to pull a cart. It takes the forms. The forms are great. And a lot of people are into Chinese martial arts because the forms are beautiful. But traditional Chinese martial arts, Kung Fu is more than just forms. It's more than just conditioning. Iron palm is great. Breaking bricks and boards are great. But that's not only what Chinese martial arts is about. It's also about combat. It's about fighting. And we need to bring that back. People are afraid of getting hurt. They're afraid. They have professional jobs. People are more sophisticated today than they were back in the 70s and the 60s, right? So we're smarter. With the information technology, a lot of these answers that we're looking for is at a thumb, the mouse. So I get it. People feel like they don't have to protect themselves as much because people are getting smarter, they're getting more intelligent. I get it. But there still is a purpose for traditional Chinese martial arts.
I know when we go to Hong Kong, Kung Fu is looked at there as like one family. And here in the States, I think, and I don't even think it really has to do with Kung Fu, I think even karate, Taekwondo, people are becoming so separated and not wanting, it's almost like they fear competition, but I feel that the competition actually draws everybody together on a larger scale, because it might bring somebody to an event you know, that normally wouldn't come, but they heard, you know, maybe a different style was going to be there, you know? So, you know, I don't look at it as, you know, getting people together, having events like this where you're bringing people together, where you have to worry like, oh, all my students are going to leave and go to this master now, you know? It doesn't work that way. I think it works the exact opposite. Exposes people that are normally maybe not have been exposed.
Well, I know that Kung Fu will definitely stick with me for my whole life. And, you know, I may not, you know, become a Sifu or like stuff like that, but I know it will always be with me, something that will stick.
I've learned a lot from the other Sifus who've come before me, Kung Fu uncles or other Kung Fu family who have this type of relationship where it's been a father and son or father and daughter. And I've been having to be very careful to balance not to push too much of what I love onto him, because what I love may not be what he loves. And so it takes that special nurturing or chicanery to help them appreciate what they're learning.
I'm showing you what I can do with this style. Let's go.